we're live on TikTok number 154. Sup, everybody?
Holy cow.
Sup. Oh, I better mid-stream before it starts. I'm just make sure everything's good. Our encoder is good. We've been going for 10 seconds.
Encoder's good.
It's longer than I last in bed.
At least me, right?
Did I just say it out loud? All right, I'm going to roll that intro real quick.
Do it. TikTok, TikTok. Technology's ruining our jobs. Fucking technology, I hate you. We're going to talk about it on TikTok number 154.
You know what jobs technology isn't taking?
What's that?
Tech jobs. Does that even make sense?
You make a valid point, actually.
Oh man!
Because if tech took tech jobs, then technically we'd have Skynet. We'd all be military.
You know what else is taking jobs? People.
What's that?
What people are taking? Has anyone ever stopped to think about what are the computers and the androids and the robots going to do when people start doing people jobs again?
Seriously.
I mean, come on. Robot lives matter, okay? Anyway, I'd like to direct everyone's attention down to the description down there. Basically, yeah, I'm just basically telling everyone that this is a show where we don't talk about tech. It's called Tech Talk. It's a euphemism. I don't know. We just hang out. That's what we're doing. So
everything's linked to technology in some way, right? It's like what is it, 7 degrees of separation or whatever? There's always technology somewhere in that chain. So technically, we're talking about tech.
Like the 7 degrees of bacon cheeseburger or Kevin Bacon or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think isn't it 7 degrees? Like you can trace like anything to anything else in like the 7 degrees of separation.
Yeah, but I know that there was like
thing, but
dang, the neighbors is like, listen.
I can barely hear it.
Oh, see, it's loud for us. That's loud, huh, guys? Okay, so we got some stuff to talk. We actually have some topics and stuff. Before we jump into the topics and actually act like we have a show planned out for you guys, Jerry and I were actually having a car discussion offline. I don't really want to talk about my car a whole lot. I think the internet's kind of sick of hearing about my car.
I'm not.
Actually, only if you follow it on Twitter would you guys know about my new car, my new whip, my cool whip.
Yeah, Richie Rick got a new whip.
Richie Whip. We were having a tire discussion actually.
Yeah, we were.
Jerry needs new tires.
I need new tires. Yes, my tires are bald on the STI.
Are they bald and hard?
Yes. Well, actually,
kind of like Grandpa?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't think they're hard. They're not that old, actually. I've just been burning the tread off and doing dry pavement burnouts. That's like the stage 2 clutch is only fun when you dump it at 6,000 RPM, and unfortunately, the tires just don't like that.
Yeah. So the two suggestions I had, and we are welcome to suggestions in the comments too on this one actually. Jerry, see, I live in an area where it's like 11 and a half months out of the year it's summer conditions, so I can get away with some super. You
can just run soft slicks on your car. Let's just be honest, most of the time.
Well, the problem is in the summertime, then they melt. But
that's true.
I can run a summer tire all year long without a problem. You, however, cannot because you deal with quite a bit of rain and a bit of frosty conditions in the winter.
Yes, it was 26 degrees last night.
So you're not going to get a performance tire that's all season. I mean, you can-ish, but I mean, any tire that I'm recommending here, like, so on the Z right now on the street set, because I've got a track set of tires and a street set. So my street set is the Continental Extreme Contact Sport, which is the new 2017 version of the old DW, which was a dry wet tire. That tire was kind of on track. It was chunky, like it chunked out a lot, the tread blocks. So they completely redesigned this tire to be a racing tire / oh my God, you were so loud there, mister.
Oh, sorry.
I think we found somebody that can challenge you to a typing contest, Jerry.
Oh yeah, bring it. Bring it.
We'll have to. He says he can type up to like 120, 130 words per minute.
130 is my max. My average is probably like 110-ish.
We'll have to set that up. This is yep. Phil. You guys will get to know Phil over time. But
I'm game. Yeah. Let's do it, Phil.
Yeah, man, I just heard it was going crazy. Okay. So what I started to say was so the Extreme Contact DW was not a very well received tire. The Extreme Contact Sport, however, was completely redesigned. It was designed by IMSA drivers. Continental worked closely with the racing circuit to develop a racing-worthy street tire. It's not super cheap, but it is a very good tire. It's got two tread blocks on it, just like the DW. Though there's the letter D and the letter W etched into the tire, and when the W wears off, then it's no longer safe for a wet tire. When the D wears off, then it's time to change the tire. So
That's actually a really cool mechanism.
It's a really cool mechanism. It just has to do with minimum tread depth.
I like it.
The other tire that I still highly recommend for street/track/wet and dry conditions is the Potenza RE11. The Potenza RE11 obviously is a Bridgestone tire. It is around the same price as the Continental, but I like both those tires. Because
I have Potenzas on the car right now, but I think they're the Potenza something zeros, R0 or something.
There's like 10 different Potenzas.
They're not that great. I put them on the car. I like them on dry pavement, but the second it gets wet, they just lose all grip.
Yeah. It depends. I mean, they have an entry level Potenza, but the RE11s is one step below their like street race tire, which is the RE71R.
Okay.
The RE71R is kind of like an R888R from that one company that makes those.
Well, technically, once I get my wife a new vehicle, I can use the truck as my little daily driver, and I could actually put some good tires on the STI, something that's a little bit more geared towards dry versus wet.
Yeah.
Just don't drive it in the wet. I mean, but then again, I have to maintain a set of rally tires too, because I like to rally cross the car, and I'm not going to do that with like sticky freaking track tires on it.
Right. So yeah. Besides that, anything new before we talk about our first topic here?
Well, I almost died today.
You're gonna tell that story?
You bet your ass I can tell that story. When have you known me to shy away from anything?
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, how do I put this gently? I thought I had a heart attack today because, the wife and I were having some nuptials. I collapsed to the floor.
Is there any more? I don't know. You hear about it all the time. People die having sex.
Yeah, well, I confirmed today that I guess is true because I was going to town, no warning signs, no precursors. I just collapsed to the floor, like for no reason, gasping for air, grabbing my chest. I was like, shit.
Are you sure you weren't just having like massive palpitations?
That's what I think was probably happening because I drank a huge cup of coffee this morning.
I think you could have had an arrhythmia.
That's what it felt like. Like, and when I put on I have a heart rate monitor because I monitor all my vitals really closely just because of the medications that I take. So I put on my little heart rate monitor for about an hour, and my heart rate maxed out at about 180-ish when I collapsed. But my oxygen saturation stayed pretty high, so that's why I don't think it was necessarily a heart attack, or if it was like a super duper mild one. But yeah, Felicia, she freaked out. I collapsed to the ground, and she's like looking at me like, uh-oh. It broke him.
Yeah, it's like the most awkward. Like, how do I explain this?
Dude, there's no good way to like play that off and look cool. Like, okay, I'm done, and walk away. They're just like. Anyways, I don't care about telling embarrassing shit, man. I take pictures of myself on the toilet for Instagram. Let's be honest here. But at any rate, it was an eye opener. So today I'm eating my salad. I had oatmeal for breakfast. I'm eating my salad for late lunch. And since the painkillers aren't really working anymore for my back, I'm going to start titrating off those too. So I have a lot of pain in my future, and I got to lose weight. So that's going to happen. I'm not consulting the internet. I'm not reaching out for advice on to become a vegan or to adopt some religion to make me lose weight. I'm just going to do it, just like I did last time I did it.
Everyone has that eye-opening moment. Like me, it was my car accident in 2008.
Was it really?
Yeah. I mean, everyone has that moment. So, I mean, it does. I'll put it this way. If it comes down to like, your health is, you have to choose between your health, your lifestyle, or your life. It doesn't matter if it's your 5th time or your 500th time. As long as you have a time that works before it's too late, then who cares how many times it took to get there?
Right. This has never happened before. This was like I've had arrhythmia for most of my life. Just random. Usually it's anxiety induced, but there was no anxiety, dude. I was having a great old time, least stress of the day, and just fucking hit me like a ton of bricks. So I think that it's probably at this point from me being down for 22 days with pneumonia in December. I think I lost so much muscle mass and I gained so much weight during that period of time that now any level of strenuous activity just takes me like off the end. So
I'm gonna say something real quick. I will ban every user in the chat who keeps asking who won the giveaways. They've already been emailed. If it wasn't you, you didn't win. So anyone that keeps blowing up the chat wanting to ask about the giveaway, you're gonna get banned, which will unfortunately remove you from the subscriber list, which means if we do have to redraw a winner, it won't be you. So I would just shut up about the giveaway, check your inbox, and watch the Exotic PC and the Fractal Design accounts because they're the ones announcing, not me. So that's the last time I'm going to say it. So anyone who asks who won, Nick, time out and ban every single one of them.
Yeah. And besides,
I don't
everybody
care.
should know that I
Time
won.
them out.
I was the one who won.
Okay. If they do it again, then ban. I'm serious. I don't care if I lose 1,000 subscribers today. Ban every single one of them. So.
Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just laughing from that video we watched earlier today. Because it's like,
Oh, okay.
I don't care if you unsubscribe. Unsubscribe now.
It's kind of this. I mean, he nailed it, right? He really did.
Oh, yeah. He really did. Oh my God. Oh, so good.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's that. There's nothing more annoying than doing a giveaway because you get a bajillion people asking who won, and then I'm like, fuck it, you're gone. Gone. If you don't have an email saying, congratulations, you won, it wasn't you. But the person who has been contacted so far as I know, has not responded back yet. And they have 48 hours to respond. And if they don't respond, we pick another winner. The problem is all these dickheads are going to screw their chance before they even get a chance to repick a winner. So just shut up and wait. If it was you, great. If not, wait your turn. Wait your chance.
There will be other giveaways.
Yeah. So anyway.
So anyways, that was my story. Life-changing event today. It needed to happen. So now I'm convinced that I am no longer healthy. Not that I ever really thought I was healthy to begin with. I mean, beyond my physical numbers, but physical numbers obviously don't mean shit when your fucking heart just like cuts out in the middle of doing shit. So I think I'm gonna try to get a little more healthier.
Well, I mean, my wife and I have been on a much more healthy regime the last several weeks. She's lost because she still was carrying the baby weight from when the baby was born, because she has one of those bodies that when she's breastfeeding, like it just hangs on to every pound. Because breastfeeding is like, it's actually a really like intensive on the body, from what I understand.
Oh, hell yeah. It totally is. You're a freaking meal factory. You're feeding yourself and another human being.
But she couldn't lose weight as much as she tried. But since the baby is no longer, I say the baby, she's 3 years old now, but she's no longer on the boob. I'm back on the boob. No, but
I swear to God, I saw that coming a mile away.
but no, seriously though, that girl's been doing 2-a-days. Do you believe that? She's been working out in the morning and in the evening, like every day, and she's just dropping weight like crazy now. So of course, I don't want to be left out. So I'm back in like sort of a weight loss mode with her, and she started doing like Peloton cycling, like spinning class.
Yep.
And so now we started talking cycling, which is really weird to talk cycling with my wife, but I'm probably going to get her a bike. That way we can go ride together. Because
I started riding my rad power bike again 2 days ago.
Yeah,
I started taking it. It's too cold right now though for me to do any strenuous stuff, because if you start breathing really heavy, you freeze your lungs. But I've been just like you, get my heart rate up to about 120 and just cruising around for about 5 miles.
Kyle W says, I join in and we're talking about breastfeeding. Hey, that's body tech.
YouTube. Body tech.
All right. First official story we're actually going to talk about here. This one comes courtesy of CNET. An Apple repair center is linked to false 911 calls. You guys can find this article on CNET. So basically, if you have an iPhone, a newer iPhone, and every iPhone has a different way of triggering it. But if you, like on my phone here, and yes, I use an iPhone, deal with it. I actually have multiple Androids as well, so whatever. If you take the power button and the volume up button and you hold it, you get this red slider right here, which is an emergency SOS, which will basically immediately call whatever the local 911 is based on the cell tower it connects to. That's how 911 works anyway with
it doesn't appear to reproduce on an iPhone 7, though, so that must be a new feature to 8 and X.
Doesn't your 7 has a physical button you push down on, though?
It does.
Yeah, see, mine does not. So the button sequence is different, just like my soft reset sequence is different than yours. What happens if you push volume up and that button?
Yeah, let me try it. So power and volume up.
It's like, okay, imagine you really were in an emergency and you needed to use this feature.
Well, I think on mine, the way you do it is you just swipe the other. There's a swipe you do. Like, is it down? I honestly don't know how to dial 911 on my phone. So I guess if I just die. I think I didn't use this morning.
You'd still be trying to figure out how to call for help.
Whatever. It's easier just to unlock and call 911.
So anyway, there's an Apple repair center in Elk Grove, California, that apparently was having an average of 20 false 911 calls every single day. And they're estimating 1,600 911 calls from this Apple repair center since last October.
That's crazy.
Do you know what a drain on resources that is? Because anytime a 911 call comes in, they have to investigate it. They can't just ignore it.
Yeah, they usually call back, but something tells me they're not answering that call back because they got the phone in some mode getting updated or fixed.
Right.
So then they probably have to send a cop out.
Yeah. If you call 911 and you hang up before anyone answers, the system will automatically call you back.
Yep.
And so
if you don't answer, the cop gets dispatched, because we had this happen about 3 months ago when the weather caused our lines to get crossed outside, like the corrosion in the box.
you
and one of the
were
neighbors
here
called
when that
911.
happened once.
Oh, was I?
Yeah, you were here because you were all worried because the police came by and you were like really concerned. Yeah, you were down here when that happened.
Okay. Well, no, we had one of those just happen up here, too, because I remember Xander was standing behind me, and I'm like, why the hell are there cops on my porch? And they're like, we received a call from 911, and then I showed them my phone. I brought the phone out, and when you clicked call, the dial tone was... and you could hear the neighbors talking.
Yeah.
So they just were like, yeah, fucking lines are crossed. But I mean, did they respond to me and somebody else needed them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, but yeah, no, they have to. If you don't answer the call back, they will dispatch the police to your house.
Yeah. So anyway, this particular repair center, and the article doesn't say how, but I'm assuming they had some sort of procedure they were doing, or maybe they had some sort of software glitch when they're hooking this up to their scopes or whatever when they're working on these devices. But they were calling 911 20 times a day. The thing is, how does that keep on going? I mean, I think after a couple of days, as the establishment in question here, I'd be trying to figure out what is going wrong, because you know what's going to happen if you keep getting all these false calls. Their dispatch is going to start. They're going to start billing you. They'll start billing you for the response effort.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, our alarm company did that when we had a cat that figured out how to trigger the alarm for attention.
Yeah.
So after like 4 or 5 false responses in a month, they're like, dude, we're going to have to start charging for this. So then I went in and I was like, oh, disable that one sensor that the cat knows how to trigger.
Yeah, but 1,600 false 911 calls since October. So I can't even imagine. Anyway, I guess I reached out to Apple for comment. Of course, Apple's like, we don't have a comment.
You reached out for comment? Oh my God, the show's getting professional.
No, not me. The article did. CNET did.
Oh, okay. I thought you actually did. It's like, hi, I'm JayzTwoCents Media, and we want to know what's going on over there, guys. Give us a call back.
Like I want to talk to anyone at Apple. You ever gone to the Genius Bar for anything? They talk to you like you're stupid.
Oh my God, don't even get me started on the Genius Bar. Remember that one time I fucking flipped out when they were fucking with me when I went to the store?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, my screen is broken. Oh, we can get you in like next week. I'm like, like what? Just fix my goddamn screen. Give me another phone. Sorry, we don't do that, sir. We replaced the screens now. I was like, oh my God, I hate you guys. I hate you guys so much.
The problem is you don't have enough Apple stores nearby where we have them like, once you get in towards LA, they're like, there's literally 2 within 1 block of each other.
It's like Starbucks. In the back of Starbucks is like a replace your screen center.
Yeah. Blame minors for the false calls.
No, I agree with you, though, because I went in there for the screen replacement, and then I finally set up an appointment. I went back because the other place that said they could do it the same day, what they meant was they could take the phone from me that day and ship it out to a repair center.
Not show up that day and get it repaired that day.
Exactly, even though they made it sound like that on the phone. So anyways, I go over, I set up the appointment, and when they're doing this, they did the screen fix right in front of me, right? They actually brought the phone out in the screen and swapped it out right in front of me. It was kind of cool to watch. And then when they were done, they're like, all right, so you should probably get a case over here. You should probably buy one of these cases so this doesn't happen again. I was like, dude, I got Apple Care. Like when the shit breaks, I'm just gonna have you fix it. And they're like, oh, but we still highly recommend that you put it in a protective case. I was like, do I have to put it in a protective case? They're like, well, of course you don't have to. I was like, all right, have a good day.
Somebody thinks that's Nick right there.
That's not Nick.
It's just some random guy. We were like, hey, you want to come in and hang out for an hour? Hey, come on.
Nick doesn't wear blue shirts.
Nick doesn't wear blue?
Doesn't wear blue shirts.
Nick's on that side. That's Nick over there. Yeah, over there. Nick doesn't respond to me anymore. He's got me on ignore. You know how he's put all you guys on timeout? He's put me on timeout like in person. So anyway, I just can't imagine though that this particular problem can get going like that long. What is that? That's almost 6. Well, it's 4 months ago. 4 months.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Well, what I don't understand is it seems like the 911 call center, because as long as it's not going over, hell, even if it's going over a wireless network, it should use the location that Wi-Fi router or that IP address is allocated to by the ISP. So at any rate, 911 call center should have had a chart somewhere saying we've responded to calls like 800 times to this one location. Like it should have been apparent. I think somebody just dropped the ball and just pretty much just ignored looking at any of this data. Mm-hmm. And that's why it happened. And they finally got around to doing an audit or something like that, and they found it. But no, realistically, there should have been a flag in the system saying, listen, 1,600 different phone numbers called us from the same location in Van Nuys.
Yeah.
We should probably like fix this somehow. And the other thing I don't get is why wouldn't Apple call like the police department and report like, hey, we have a high instance rate of the phones accidentally getting triggered, because they know they're doing it. There's no way the phones are just doing it on their own, right? They're obviously pushing the wrong fucking button combo to get it into whatever mode.
Let's drill this down even farther. So I have friends and family who are in law enforcement. I've gone on plenty of ride-alongs with them. And every single time I go on a ride along, the cop always seems to be called out to some location they've been to in the past, right? And they remember the location, one, by their own memory. But two, the moment the call comes up on their MDC, it will tell them about all past calls that have ever happened at that address. Yep. So in a city like Elk Grove, they probably have a police force of about 200, maybe 250 police officers. And you split that out by shift, right? There's 3 shifts. So the likelihood of the same cop being called out there multiple times in that 1600, the cop will eventually bring it up to their own dispatch too and be like, hey, there's something going on here. We need to figure this out. Because the last thing the cop wants to do is go chasing these false flags.
Right.
So I just can't, it just seems such a weird article.
Yeah, like were they just ignoring them? I mean, did it just get to the point where they were just like they just counted it as
legally,
a glitch in the system? Because then it seems like liabilities on them if there's a real issue at that location.
You can't legally just be like, that's Jimmy. He's just bored. You can't do that. Then Jimmy really needs you, and he's screwed. So
they hired that Apple Care guy. He wasn't right in the head. He wasn't right in the head. He just keeps calling 911. It's okay though. Yeah. It's okay. He's a nice kid. Yeah. That is pretty weird actually.
Anyway, so yeah, let me. Here's one that I wanted to talk about too. So Nick actually knows a little bit more about this. Nick, scoot over here real quick.
Come on, little Nicky.
Oh, he's too busy banning people right now.
I know. I'm watching this ban hammer, just like, holy shit, he's giving Japman a run for his money.
Yeah. So the Metal Gear Survive.
Yeah.
So apparently Metal Gear is going to be charging $10 for a second save slot. You know, you open up a game, you have like 4 or 5 save slots.
Yep.
Or just however many you end up saving, it can just keep going. Because it's just game data, usually in like a text format or whatever, saved in like the documents folder or something, right?
Right. Yep.
But it just carries information.
We're in the cloud too. But Xbox gives you like free cloud storage. PS gives you cloud storage with your subscription. That's all provided.
Okay. When I started reading this article, Nick was like, screw Metal Gear. Because you talked about the developer left, et cetera, et cetera. So what happened?
Well, basically, Hideo Kojima developed the game Metal Gear Solid, but the publisher, Konami, kicked him out from it and then took his name and slapped it on this game.
So this is not Metal Gear as you know it.
Yeah, it's like a complete offshoot. So it's not even Hideo's game. He won't get support for it. So they kind of just took his thing and ran with it, and they didn't give him credit anymore. Because there's a whole issue about this, like 2 years ago, when they wouldn't allow him to go to the Video Games Award to receive the award for the game that he made.
I remember that actually.
All I had to do to get everyone to stop bugging about the giveaway was make the camera freeze. Now all they're talking about is the frozen camera. I don't know why the camera froze.
The camera was frozen. I just thought you were holding perfectly still.
I like how the moment Nick came into frame, it's like, and cut. I don't know why it's frozen, guys. OBS has been doing weird things to me today, so we're just gonna keep going. But anyway, so I wanted to start the discussion about we obviously have heard about DLC content, right? But now DLC features. If you want anti-aliasing, this is going to cost you $2 a month.
Right? That's like the next progression from this.
Yeah. Honestly. Okay, we'll give you your whole game, but if you want the whole settings panel, that's going to cost you.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to use joystick left and be able to keybind, you're going to have to pay. Like, where will it end, right? There will be no end if this shit's like allowed to take place. So people need to like just tell them to fuck off and not support the game until they do the same thing that they did with that other game. What was it? The Star Wars game.
Oh, Battlefront.
Was it Battlefront 2?
Battlefront 2,
I remember how everybody just protested and was like, fuck you, pay to win model, and they pulled it out. Well, the same thing's going to have to happen with this.
Well, they had pulled it out temporarily when they first pulled it. And then they decided like, okay, we'll leave it out permanently. And they started reducing the amount of credits and stuff it takes to unlock various features and stuff. But they were still hell-bent on, even after they pulled it out the first time as a temporary thing, that they were going to bring it back. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But I mean, that's a perfect example of public outcry. But that's EA also. EA is perfectly content with being, the devil in terms of gaming publishers.
Yeah, Konami wouldn't take me as a company that would do that, though. Like, because, I mean, they're like a ground floor company, right? Konami's been around since, like, the first consoles.
Yeah.
So that's a little weird that they're taking this model. It's almost like it's one of those things where they're just watching the community and they're like, oh, what can we get away with? EA gets away with this all the time, so fuck, we'll do it too. Yeah. And they'll probably won't allow the game to be on any other platform. Well, I mean, it is Metal Gear, so it is only going to be available on PlayStation, I'm guessing, right? I don't think the Metal Gear franchise has ever been on anything but Has it been on Xbox? Did they do a delayed release of one of them to Xbox?
Did it ever go on Xbox, Nick? Or I thought it was PlayStation only.
What did
Metal Gear.
No, Metal Gear 5 went on Xbox and PS4 and PC.
Oh,
That's what one of them did, but wasn't it delayed? Didn't it go on PlayStation first, and then Xbox was like way longer down the road, or were they?
yeah, but it came out on PC also.
Does he know?
He's asking if there was a delay, like where it came out PlayStation first, but then like the same one came out on the other platforms later, or were they all cross-platform launch?
For PlayStation.
Right, I remember the original. I played that.
Yeah, this seems really fishy because the whole thing with PlayStation is they always rip on Xbox Live and shit, right? They talk about how PlayStation Network's like free and, you know.
Sorry, I was talking.
No worries. No worries. I'm just wondering why PlayStation is doing stuff like this because they criticize the hell out of Microsoft for their Xbox Live, subscription fee, yearly subscription fee. And now they're letting games just nickel and dime shit like this. Like that doesn't seem like a good model.
Okay. So obviously the PS4, Xbox One launch, PlayStation looked like the Halo system because they were all against Xbox's DRM and all that, and always online and stuff. So that was nothing more than a marketing model where instead of actually marketing how good your console is, you started marketing against the competition. You find that, and obviously Xbox had a lot of flack during
and they
launch.
changed a lot too. Remember,
they did.
Xbox One was supposed to have internally like downloaded games, no CD drive, always on DRM. So community outcry helped.
But what I'm getting at here is PlayStation played all of their cards and their marketing angles right and up front to instead of boasting about how good the platform is, it was just look how bad Xbox is. So that was like their marketing. But now that 4 years have gone by, 5 years have gone by since that platform launch, right? 2013.
It's been a while.
Now they're able to just start making these tweaks because people are embedded. People are invested now with their game libraries and their PlayStation Live accounts and stuff to where they can make these changes and you're kind of stuck.
Right.
So it's typical though. I mean, all these companies do it. All these tech companies will do the bait and switch over time. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Intel, you're AMD, you're Nvidia. All of them have some sort of a bait and switch. Pascal, for instance. Pascal. All of your marketing. Okay, so the Pascal launch event, May 2016, Austin, Texas. It was coinciding with DreamHack. So we're there. We're press. We're watching the announcement. We're watching all of the. It was backwards when Pascal launched. We got to do Tech Day first, before the launch event, where usually it's launch event then Tech Day.
Right.
So we actually got to do Tech Day and kind of get all the info. Oh no, I'm mixing up 1080 Ti. Okay, backwards. I'm sorry. DreamHack, we did the Tech Day demo live thing with, all of their fanfare and their live stream that night, and then the next day we spent all day getting the information. So they do their tech demo during the night, and they're showing all of their blah blah blah. The next day, when we're actually learning about the architecture of Pascal, I go right up to them and I say, "Hey, we're gonna be able to do three-way because I had three-way 980s. Remember that?
Lol, ladies.
Zing, giggity. So I asked them, we're gonna be able to do three of them, and they're like, about that. And that was when they had the idea of this Nvidia key to unlock the three-way functionality. Remember, you'd have to download a key to make three-way work. That ended up being scrapped before it ever even rolled out, to where three-way was just no longer, 3 and 4-way were just no longer supported in games, because with DX12, and this is where probably know a little bit more about the architecture than me.
It was a big change.
Well, you got DX12, and you've got the manufacturers of the cards, and you've got the game developers, and you've got implicit and explicit SLI that have to do with the API calls. So it was like, who's going to handle the multi-GPU support? Is it going to be DirectX? Is it going to be NVIDIA? Or is it going to be the game developer, which has kind of been the way it's always been? But then they've got this implicit and explicit SLI functionality. And because it got so granular, NVIDIA just pulled that all together. They're like, Microsoft and the developers can figure it out. It'll be there if they want to code for it, but otherwise we're not going to support it. As soon as NVIDIA did that, that is when the game developers and Microsoft basically went, we'll just focus on either two-way or one card. Most of them just optimize for one card, two-way scales, however it scales.
Yeah, I know some of the DirectX 12 calls are built in automatic. They automatically scale, but it's not nearly enough. Like it's just some of the basic functionality like anti-aliasing and shit like that. It can farm it out across multiple cards without the developer doing anything. But most of the key feature shit that takes like full control of the card and utilizes it, yeah, you're right. The developer has to actually like know that it's there and account for it.
So my point being, Nvidia having built itself up what was the biggest way to show that you were a PC nerd for many years? Put 4 graphics cards.
Yep.
Put 4 graphics cards in a system.
All of them. Yes.
So suddenly they didn't even make it super aware or public that 3 and 4-way weren't being supported until like after pre-orders were out. So basically they were taking pre-orders from people that wanted to buy 2, 3, 4 cards, and suddenly only 2 were going to work anyway. The only program that even still scales to 4-way fine is Firestrike, but that's just a benchmark, you know? And we know
they're going to be pulling that out too, right? Isn't Nvidia dropping SLI support for future generations?
I don't know.
That's what I've been seeing, and they did it with the Titan V.
No, they only did it with the Titan V because the Titan V, they specifically wanted to be a compute card. And I think when we see the new generation of graphics cards come out, now by the way, just full disclosure, I have not read any of the leaks, so I have no idea what any of the supposed leaks are I think they're calling it 2080. I have no idea, so I'm just speaking based on like what I kind of know from Nvidia from working with them now for about 3 years. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to do away with 2-way SLI, but the Volta card I know specifically because of its tensor cores and all that stuff. It was designed specifically to be a compute card, not a gaming card, which is why the SLI fingers are gone and why NVLink doesn't work, and even explicit SLI doesn't work in DX12. Okay. So I know Gamers Nexus couldn't get it to work, but asterisk here, I also know that Vince, a Kingpin, has 4 Voltas working. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't see them getting rid of 2-card support, especially with 4K.
Problem is, SLI has always been kind of a second-rate citizen to NVIDIA. Like, I mean, they use it for the benchmarks and for like the wow factor and stuff like that, and the multi-machine rigs and stuff like that. But 90% of their customers are like single screen, or at least gaming on a single screen, right? If they're doing multiple screens, it's off one card. So I kind of feel like even if you look at the experience, like if you even looked at the NVIDIA surround experience, it's the exact same to the T it was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, and they had that, and I can't remember, they called it I already forgot what it was called, but it was supposed to scale better in terms of looking less warped on the ends. It's still terrible.
Oh, projection, 3D projection.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
It was multi-projection. I can't remember what it's called, but it still looks as stretched out as ever.
It does. We did it in Flight Simulator the other day, and I was like, yep, it does. I mean, it might make a little difference, but it's not as much as they claimed it would.
Well, but because you're doing it wrong. In Flight Sim, you have to actually open up 3 different views and then just change the angle of each view.
I did that, but it runs like shit.
Well, yeah, because you're running the simulator 3 times.
Because, but I'm just saying, like, when I put it in NVIDIA Surround and I do it, I can run it 4K, almost maxed out in X-Flight, and it's like perfect 6 frames per second or 60 frames per second. But then when I switch it to the 3 different views, I get like 4 frames a second. It's like that bad.
Yeah. I've seen a bunch of people asking why Nick is timing so many people out. Again, it's about the giveaway. If you're bugging and nagging about the giveaway, I'm not the one picking the winner. I'm not the one announcing the winner. I'm not the one contacting the winner. So we're just sick of it. So we're doing timeouts so that people will stop nagging. Again, Exotic PC and Fractal Design are the ones that are doing the giveaway. So you have to go and nag them. The winner has already been emailed. He's already been contacted. If you don't have an email, it wasn't you. Jerry, you didn't win, okay?
I know. I was sad about that too. I thought that you were going to rig it for me.
Nah, you got a big enough PC. But talking about Flight Sim though, dude, I've been using VR for mine. That's where it's at.
Yeah, I need to get my VR set up. I've got the towers in place. I just need to go pick up my headset from Jesse, Tribal Instincts, the guy that does all the VR stuff.
But I bought an Oculus just for that, for the PC in the upstairs like game / guest room. And my Oculus though is one of those ones that has the bad HMU. So it's or whatever you call it. It's like the gyro is wrong. Is bad in it. So the whole world is tilted to the left all the time. So I still have to get them to replace the headset. It was a bad headset out of the box.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for the Pro. The Pro is a huge resolution hike
for the Oculus.
Yeah, not Oculus. Sorry, HTC.
Right, but I'm talking about the Oculus. I bought an Oculus.
No, fuck the Oculus, man.
I bought an Oculus because I don't need the light towers and stuff.
You still need a camera pointed at your face.
But at least the camera can just go right on top of the monitor or on top of the desk. And I mean, the lighthouses and stuff, I don't feel like having to run power to those.
I guess if you're just sitting stationary in front of the computer, the Rift is probably the better experience. Plus, I like the controllers on the Rift better. I'll give you that one. I do like the controllers better.
I don't use the controllers at all, but like I said, I just use it for the flight sim. But you know how hard it is to fly when the whole world is tilting to the left? I don't know if I'm flying left or the world is tilting left.
Just act like you got a crick in the neck. You're like, ow.
You can always tell who's never used. You can always tell who's never used VR because you know how many people were like, just lean your head to the right. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
It fucks with your perception so bad. It'll even give you vertigo if shit doesn't line up exactly in the game as it does in real life.
Because
like, have you ever tried to play?
You've got a gyro in your head, and if the horizon in front of you does not match up with what your head is telling you, then it's wrong. And so the amount of people that are like, well, just tilt your head to the right a little bit while you calibrate it. It's like, you don't understand. Calibration has nothing to do with tilt. Tilt and horizon has to do with the gyro inside the HMD. So no matter how many times you calibrate it, if it's wrong, then it's always going to be crooked. And nothing makes you feel more uneasy than a crooked horizon in VR.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I like about the HTC Vive is that all the tracking is done through the lighthouses. so there's really no...
tilt,
I mean,
though.
I think there
tilt
is a gyro.
Still a gyro.
I think there's a gyro in there, but I don't think they use it primarily for the tilt because it tracks the pattern.
No, the horizon is still based off the tilt on the HMD. The lighthouses only have to deal with the 3D space.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
the tilt is only controlled by the headset.
Interesting.
So the rumor, the theory in the rumor, because I searched so many forums because I was like, damn it, if I send this off to Oculus, now they're going to send me back a refurb. I was like, I just bought this thing brand new. They're going to send me back a refurb.
They will.
And so what apparently happened with these headsets is when they were calibrated initially from the factory, they probably weren't level at that time. And so, right, because if you basically, it's supposed to be in a perfectly level environment when they run the calibration tool. That basically, and we're talking about the gyro calibration tool, not like the lighthouse calibration. So, the theory has it is that table might not have been perfectly level. So there's a recalibration tool that's floating around out there, and it's based on temperature too. So it recalibrates each increment of Celsius. So it'll calibrate at like 28, 28.5. 29, 29.5, 30. So I don't know what this temperature has to do with the gyro, but it affects it in some way. And I've run that tool twice because you can get a copy of the tool via, forums and stuff because Oculus won't send the tool out. I've recalibrated mine multiple times and it's still crooked. So I'm going to have to go through now and get it replaced. It sucks to go out and spend $400 and it's wrong. It's bad out of the box.
Totally.
I don't care if it was $50. I don't care if it was $5. I don't want to buy something and have it be bad out of the package. That's just bullshit.
Wow. Okay. So it looks like some people with the HTC Vive are also experiencing a tilt issue on some of the units.
Yeah. See, mine was one of the very first retail units, period, like available, and mine's perfectly fine. But I've heard it's funny because I said on Twitter I got a little salty on Twitter because I was just so butthurt about it being crooked. A lot of people were like, my Oculus works fine, but my HTC is shit. So it's like, I don't know, my Vive's been fine. My Oculus is shit. So I think that's going to be the typical experience. One of them's not going to work for you. If you have both, one's going to suck.
So I did a little bit of reading on the HTC Vive. It's kind of a half-truth. It doesn't just use the gyro. It cross-references data from the gyro, the accelerometer, and the laser positioning sensor to get its fix in the world. So I wonder if the Rift is just using one piece of data versus everything that's available to it.
Now, here's one thing that's kind of nice about the Vive. And when the Vive Pro comes out, I'll replace the Vive that's in the game room. The full
for the sim,
room scale. Yeah, I'll take the one I currently have and put it on the sim because you can run just one lighthouse on that for a seated position and be fine.
That's cool. I like that idea.
But
for like flight simulator, you might want to like turn around and look over your shoulder.
Oh yeah, so you might block it, but if it's right in front of me, in front of the monitor, like on top of the monitor, it's still going to see the headset no matter what. The two lighthouses, although they increases accuracy in where you are in that 3D space, you only need one to operate it. It's just one is for if view becomes obstructed. But the new Lighthouse Pros though, or the Vive Pro is supposed to have much quieter lighthouses. Like my upstairs, if I turn everything off and I'm just sitting there, you can hear that high pitched buzzing coming from them.
Oh yeah, no, it's same here.
Because it's a spinning mirror. It's a spinning mirror with a laser pointing at it.
And they vibrate too. Like people don't realize how much vibration that unit has. You hold it, you can tell something in there is spinning like ass over tea kettle fast.
And you definitely don't want to be holding it while it's doing it because while it's on, you don't want to be jolting it or whatever. You can damage it.
Probably fucks with the bearings in it too, right?
I don't know.
If you're fighting the gyro.
I think it's suspended in there in some way, but still.
Make sure they don't fall off your wall while they're on.
Yeah. The new ones are also supposed to be a lot less susceptible to being affected by direct sunlight and stuff. Because you've seen my upstairs layout. If I open those windows, it gets a lot of bright sunlight in there. It can kind of affect, because it's all IR.
Right.
So it can be affected by the sun. But
it seems like they're both pretty much geared for different scenarios, right? I mean, the HTC Vive is a full room experience. And the Pro is going to be wireless, too. Did you hear about that? There's going to be a wireless option for the Pro.
Right. The Oculus is also a room scale now, too.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Well, yeah, but you have to. How many sensors do you have to cover a 15 by 15 foot area?
2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the one I bought is 2.
Oh shit! I didn't realize that they got it down to 2. That's actually the same.
In fact, when I was just sitting there, it was telling me my play area was too small.
Interesting. Okay, so I could see that being a big because I love the controllers. I love the Rift the Rift controllers.
Yeah. I also think the Rift headset. I also think the Rift headset is better because it's lighter.
It is lighter and it's got better lenses too. I think the optics in it are better. Mm-hmm. Somebody was telling me, I think it was Adam that was telling me that the optics because he has both, right? So the optics and the Rift are better.
Yeah, I'll be able to give a better assessment on which is better once I have it working right, because all I can focus on right now is the 1 degree or 1.5 degree tilted horizon.
Yeah,
which is really screwing with me.
My only complaint with VR is literally just the resolution. So if they increase the resolution, I think VR has still got plenty of life in it. To all the people that think VR is dead.
See, as a resolution snob like myself, I have to be in 1440, 100 hertz or better. You know what I mean? I can go in VR and deal with the resolution for hours on end and not care.
Oh, I'm the same way, but I do notice when I play racing games, I know you adapted to it a lot better than I did, but I noticed this mostly in Project Cars versus rally racing, because you don't get up to the crazy speeds in rally, right?
Right.
The corner entry, even though I've got the depth perception, the resolution still fucks with my corner entry speed.
Oh, okay. Well, I think part of that too is because I do so much track days in person that I'm used to turning my head, so I'm always looking at the center of the HMD and not the blurry peripheral.
That actually makes a lot more sense. Whereas I drive, I'm looking out way ahead of myself, and then as I come into the corner, I'll start looking down into the apex. But it drives me nuts because I can never get my corner entry speed right with the resolution on on the HTC Vive.
Yeah. Nick Siesta in chat says VR is dead. I don't know. That sounds subjective to me.
I get that all the time, though. People say VR is dead, the cost is too high. And I'll admit, the cost has come way down, but the computer that you need to run a good VR experience, at the top end of settings and everything, is pretty dramatic.
Well,
I mean, you do have a lot of processing power.
And the moment the game senses that VR is going on, it drops post-processing, it drops anti-aliasing, all that stuff, because you have to maintain a 90 FPS average.
Yeah, if it drops below that, you get sick. You literally get sick.
So if you guys have ever wondered about the human eye and FPSs, science has said that 90 FPS in the game is where you need to be to mimic reality.
Yeah, and if there's even what did they say? Is it it has to be within, I think, 10 milliseconds?
Yeah, on the frame pacing.
Yeah, the frame pacing has to be within 10 milliseconds. Otherwise, you'll get a vertigo effect in your inner ear where it literally feels like you're just doing this.
They do a great job at predicting, though.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I can, like you said, I can stay in the Rift for hours, especially if I'm playing a 1-to-1 game. If it's a game where I'm moving 1-to-1 to myself in the game,
you can stay in one long enough to sweat one to death.
Yes. This is very true. This is very true.
It was the salt content. It wasn't the sweat.
Yeah. Hey, to be fair, though, HTC did replace the headset, and they did say that it was their bad for not having the seals properly. They admitted that the seals in the Rift. So if you kill a Rift with, not Oculus, the Vive.
The Vive. Yeah.
I'm so confused. The Vive. If you kill the Vive with sweat, contact HTC and see if they'll replace it. Because if it's one of the older models that has shitty seals in it, that's why I died. Is because literally your sweat just drained into the board inside when there should have been sealed.
I didn't know that they were actually considered sealed. Honestly,
they're supposed to be sealed from the backside so that any sweat or perspiration inside of the lens doesn't get into the electronics.
Wow, I had no idea.
So I don't think it's sealed on the back. So I don't think you can go in your bathtub and have a fucking downhill, rafting adventure with your HTC. But yeah, technically sweat should not kill it. That's because sweat is very salty and very conductive. So they definitely wanted to create it with that in mind.
So I am sweat.
Yes.
I'm as salty as my hair is salt and pepper.
Dude, did you see the Instagram picture of that though, where we set the headset? So I was using the headset and I was in there for about an hour and a half playing a sword fighting game. So I was like swinging my arms. I was exhausted. I was completely exhausted at the end. We set the headset down on the floor. We come back after eating dinner. There's literally a circle about 6 inches out in every direction around on his green screen where the sweat just went down through the headset and then into the green screen.
I saw it was disgusting.
It was so bad. Okay, I'll admit I don't get embarrassed that often, but that was pretty goddamn embarrassing.
You were also sitting on the ground and left a butt stain.
I sweat a lot, man. I'm fucking 315 pounds. What do you expect?
Not to sweat as much.
And I drink coffee and I take Adderall for ADHD so I don't chase the squirrels in the front yard.
Well, the Adderall is why you're sweating so much.
Well, actually, I sweat a lot before Adderall. I don't take a lot. I take I think it's like a 20 milligram XR.
1,000 milligrams a day.
I take 7,000 milligrams. I snort it. It's this powder stuff, and I snort it. And doctor said that's okay.
I snort my ADD meds.
Dude, anybody that says Adderall is anything other than just a pure amphetamine, it's basically just metered meth. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd be really disappointed if you went and bought meth and it only had the effect of a single Adderall, like low dose Adderall. I think when you buy meth or whatever, you're actually getting something that's massively factor stronger. I would imagine.
Let's see.
I don't know. I've never been a meth addict, which is a miracle considering where I grew up.
Yeah, I can't really comment on that. I mean, I don't know, right? I don't like to talk about things I ain't experienced, and fortunately, that's one of them.
That's true. That's true.
So I don't know. We talked about cars for a little bit here. Should we talk about the new whip?
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. That's a milestone. You've been hitting a lot of milestones, brother.
That car. So it's funny. You can tell who researches cars and knows about cars versus their response to that car, because you'll see those comments like, it's just a Camaro. Who gives a fuck?
To be fair, though, I knew what that car was capable of only because of one thing. I watch. Oh God, what's that series? Oh, on Netflix. There's a series where they have the oh God, my brain just fucking went out the window. No, not Roadkill. It's the older guy that tests the cars around the track.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The guy, he's really kind of soft spoken.
Mm-hmm. He wears the glasses.
Yeah, wears the glasses, exactly. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but anyways, he took your car out and did a lap, and he came back and he got out of the car and he's like, holy shit, this thing has grip.
Mm-hmm. Not just
he's
grip,
like, he
but
gets
power.
out of the car and he's like, you do not expect that from this car when you get in. He's like, this thing's got grip, it's got power. He said it was amazing.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure that was the ZL1 10-speed that he drove, not the 1LE.
No, it was the 1LE.
Oh,
I'm almost positive it was the 1LE because it was he said that it was their absolute top spec.
Right.
At the time, granted. And then they ran it against the Corvette.
Z06.
Was it the Z06 or ZR1 or whatever the hell it is, their fast Corvette?
ZR1 wasn't out yet at the time.
And it was a tenth of a second faster.
They're working on a new ZR1 right now because what Chevy's done, they've allowed the F-body team and the Corvette team to compete with each other internally. So whereas like a manufacturer would normally just have like Randy Post, is that his name? Randy Post?
Yeah, Post.
Yeah. So normally it's like Chevy's like, okay, our top dog is our Corvette. And the Camaro is always going to be under that hierarchy, right?
Yep. But that wasn't the case this time.
But what they allowed was each team to just create an inner company competition to see who could build the best pony car. And so the Camaro team came out with the ZL1. Now the ZL1 was out. The ZL1's been out for the 5th gen, right? 2012, 2011, I think there were ZL1s. And they were always supercharged, V8s. And
yep.
But in 2017, they bumped up the power output to 650 horsepower. And then in 2017, like mid-2017, they announced the 1LE, which is the extreme suspension package, the extreme handling package.
Yep.
And basically it takes all of that power, 650 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque, and coupled it with massively wide and lightweight wheels. So it's 305 tires in the front, 325 tires in the back. Came with tires designed specifically for the car, which are, by the way, going to be available for the general public later this year from Goodyear. But they're Goodyear Eagle F1 Supercar 3R. So basically they're 100 treadwear. I can't say treadwear. I sound homophobe. Anyway,
treadwear.
They're 100 treadwear DOT slick. So basically they've got what laughingly, and I'll post a picture. Somebody remind me after TikTok to post a picture of the tread. They have laughable amount of tread on them. Like, really? You're calling that tread? It is the minimum amount of tread required by DOT. It's also the minimum amount of tread wear required by DOT. So you know that like has to be 30 seconds or more to be not considered a bald tire. Well, what do you think my tread depth is?
Exactly that. So like the first time you take it out for a test drive off the showroom, they got to put new tires on it.
So it's got 3 grooves on it. DOT only requires 2 grooves. So it's got 3 grooves on the inside of the tire. So the shoulder block is like half the tire, right? And the shoulder block is where all your grip is. So when you're turning, all the weight goes onto the outside of the tire, and the shoulder block is where all the grip happens. So it has 3 grooves on the inside of the tire, and the treads, which are normally, you know, they sort of angle out towards the front of the car to kind of scoop up water and jet it out.
Yep.
My treads are completely perpendicular to the tire. So they're not angled at all. They're straight. And they're super short, and there's hardly anything to them. So they are by all intents and purposes a street slick. And so the very first day I drove the car was in the rain, and that was interesting to say the least. Nick was with me. I think that GIF I put up there of that dog trying to run in the rain was probably the best way to put it, just slipping and sliding everywhere. So I buy the car on Sunday. And so it's a 2018 ZL1 1LE Camaro, and I couldn't drive it because I came home, parked the car, and then we went out to Long Beach to have a birthday wine and dinner with a friend. And I was like, I am not driving the 1LE to Long Beach. Long Beach has nothing but potholes. It's only street parking on the major streets. I'm like, I'm not about to have someone crash into my car the first day I got it. So the next day, Nick and I go out for a drive, and I'm like, let's go up into the canyon. Well, it was raining that day, and what do you think happens in the mountains when it's raining here? It snows. So the very first day I had it ended up in the snow, and I was like, screw this. We turned around and came back down the hill because Nick was looking out the window. He's like, I think there's ice on the ground. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure that's like snowing out there. I was like, I don't know. I was wondering if it was just like a haze. And then next thing I know, like we start seeing the snowflakes falling from the sky. I was like, oh crap, this is not the car to be caught in the snow. So what are the odds, Jerry, that the first day I buy that car, it ends up in the snow? And where I live.
I'm just glad you turned around, man. After my little experience in the snow, that would my butt cheeks would be puckered in that car. Holy shit!
See,
glad you made it home safe though.
See, the perfect example though of and I'm not putting anyone down. I just want to preface this. True car people know that the ZL1 1LE is a manual, because I see a lot of like manual auto. 1LEs only come in manual. They only come in 6-speed. The ZL1 non-1LE.
That's how God intended, Jay.
The non-1LE ZL1 comes in a 10-speed automatic or a manual. So that's just the difference. Like the people that are like, oh, it's just a Camaro, what's the big deal? It's 650 horsepower from the factory. That's a big deal. A pulley change, an intake, and a tune will get me over 615 wheel horsepower. It'll add 100 horsepower to the car with those 3 parts. So it's like the tuning like baseline on this car is ridiculously high.
Sorry, I'm reading a spec on your car here versus the Challenger Hellcat.
Oh, it's the same speed. It's just as fast.
Yeah.
The Hellcat's 1 mile per hour slower at the end of the quarter.
It's well, according to this, it said it's 2/10 of a second 0 to 60, but similar times to 125 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And the Hellcat weighs 400 pounds more.
The Hellcat also has more torque.
Yeah, I'd imagine the Hellcat. I mean, the reason it's so heavy is because the fucking massive motor, right? I mean, the thing is a motor with a wheel.
Well, I mean, it also has 57 more horsepower to put out the same numbers, and it can't turn like a ZL1 for sure.
Yeah, and now they got the Demon. I haven't looked much into the Demon. Isn't it like another 100 horsepower or something like that, but similar specs otherwise?
The Demon.
I know it's over 800. The Dodge Demon. It's the new follow up to the Hellcat.
Yeah, but the nice thing about so here's the thing.
I'm surprised you didn't get a GTR, honestly, though.
Well, I was shopping for a GTR. Okay. The car had a $20,000 markup, not the GTR, the 1LE. The dealership took the price of the car and wanted $20,000 extra dollars. Basically, I was like, hell no, we walked out of there for less than MSRP. So we worked a really good deal on this car.
Yeah, and you weren't going to get that on a GTR. I think the GTRs are still, unless you know somebody, you're going to get raked over the coals.
The GTR base is $99,000.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, they came out with a base, like a stripped GTR that doesn't have like a lot of the luxury features, but it has all the power. $99,000.
Wow, yeah. I wouldn't have. And the GTR is only what, 550 horsepower?
But the GTR still has a faster quarter mile time because of its all-wheel drive.
The all-wheel drive is always going to do that.
Right.
It's unfair to compare rear-wheel drive to an all-wheel drive. If you put big-ass tubbed rear end in your car, you'd run it down.
Right.
but then it would suck in the corners.
I'm seeing that, look, no one can seem to agree on what the actual demon horsepower is. It looks like it's right around 840 to 850 horsepower.
I know it's over 800. I know it's between 800 and 900. And rumor had it back when they were first announcing it that it was going to have 900 plus horsepower, but for some reason Dodge didn't stick with that.
So let me explain the rationale about why the 1LE was the car I would. Because you and I've talked about this before. You've asked me a million times, Jay, what's your dream car? And I was like, I don't dream about McLaren and stuff. And you're like, what if you had to? I was like, okay, fine, ZL1 1LE. How many times did I say that? ZL1 1LE.
I don't remember ZL1 1LE, but I do remember you saying Camaro, and I laughed hysterically at you. Because didn't you used to have a Camaro and race a Camaro back in the day?
Yeah, my very first sports car was an 89 RS Camaro, and then that got wrecked 3 months after I owned it. I got rear-ended at a stoplight, and then I replaced it with a 92 Z28.
Yeah, so see, so I knew you were going to eventually, go back to it for your love of cars.
But here's the thing: I would not own any Camaro but a 1LE, a ZL1 1LE. I was very, very like upfront. I was like, I would never own a Camaro unless it's a ZL1 1LE, and I've answered that many times.
What's the specific thing about it, though? The reason why that is, like,
because it has all the horsepower and the handling to go with it. Usually with an American muscle car, it's like the Z is a perfect example. I take the Z to the track and I smash on Mustangs all day long. Mustangs with twice my horsepower, because for whatever reason, Shelby's aside, Mustangs just don't handle well. I mean, there's obviously all the memes for that reason. But even on the track, Mustang challenge groups are there, and I'm putting down faster times than Mustangs. Nick rode with me when I lapped the entire field of Mustangs. Now, the difference is I don't have the power. So you take me off a track, you put me on the freeway, I'm going to get smashed on by Mustangs all day long. Same thing with Camaro, same things with Demons, Challengers, obviously Demons, but even just standard RT or Scat Pack Challengers and Chargers. You put me on a track, that's my element. The ZL1 gives me all that straight line performance, and it still outhandles my Z. That's why, and the thing is, that car is cheaper than anything else that has that kind of power. That car has a faster lap time than every McLaren that McLaren has made short of the P1. So the only McLaren faster than the ZL1 on Laguna Seca is a P1. Do the math on that.
Well, it's a badass looking car too. I mean, credit where credit's due. I'm not a huge, big American car guy, but I'm looking at pictures of it right now. The styling. Do you got the wing on the back of yours?
Of course, it's part of the 1LE package.
Well, I didn't know if it was an option or not on top of that.
So the ZL1 1LE is the most spec'd Camaro. Now, one of my Clayton says I'm full of shit in my car. Fuck you, Clayton. Anyway, so the ZL1 1LE, I was kind of like, man, if they wanted this to be a truly like track car, like a track spec car, they should have like stripped it out, made it lighter, less amenities, like Porsche does with the GT cars, right? It has straps, it has mesh straps for door handles, right? Just to make it light.
Right, save 10 ounces and charge another $20,000. Yeah.
My problem with the oh god, this camera is being so stupid. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can fix this here. My problem with the 1LE is the fact that it was an addition. So each time you stepped up, RS, SS, ZL1, ZL1 1LE, you added stuff to the car, and they didn't take anything away. So my 1LE has the full Alcantara suede interior. It's got the giant infotainment center. It's got everything, like every feature.
Yeah, what's that? Carbon fiber dashboard too?
I don't think it's carbon fiber.
Do you not have that? Okay,
I haven't looked that
right here. That's a carbon fiber. They might paint it in some of the cars too to match the outside or something.
I haven't looked at it all that closely, but anyway.
God, the interior looks awesome though. I'm looking at pictures of it right now. The 2018.
Yes, guys, it has RGB. The interior lighting is RGB.
They changed the styling a lot though. The inside doesn't look all crazy boxy like the old ones.
But let me finish my point though.
Go for it.
They came out with a Z28 track spec a few years ago, and that took away everything. That air conditioning was an option. Like that car was designed, and it had like one speaker for the radio, right? That was the stripped down Z28 or track car, but it didn't sell very well. So GM was like very adamant that the 1LE, the ZL1 1LE package was like the top dog. It was supposed to have everything. Like the car that I bought it for, okay, so each dealership has like one in California. So the dealership I bought it from had one white one. White was not my first color. It was gunmetal gray. The same color as my truck was what I wanted.
It's a good color for California, though.
White?
Yeah, just to keep the heat out.
Well, black interior, but... So anyway, the dealership I went to had white. Each dealership had like a different color. And I was looking at the entire like Chevy inventory online. And the problem was the only one that had the PDR, the performance data recorder, is the one that I bought. So the one I bought literally has every option available for the Camaro. But the PDR is what I really wanted. That's the one that will video and put up all the real-time telemetry on the video. So all I have to do is put an SD card in my car, go on track, hit record, and it will record everything while I'm driving. And that's what I wanted. So it's a pretty neat function.
Yeah, I'm just looking at them, comparing it to all these cars, like the Ferrari Enzo, the 488 GTB, Porsche 911 GT2. I mean, anything that compares the Porsche 911 GT2 is pretty amazing.
What are you looking at specifically?
So hold on here. I'm looking at hold on. Let me see what page this is. Motor Trend, the 2018 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 1LE first test review.
Guys, Phil is not Asian. He's human.
Although it looks
Wait a
like
minute. That doesn't sound like I said Asians aren't humans. Let me rephrase this. Wow.
Racist
Okay.
Jay is racist.
That's not what I meant. I meant it doesn't matter if he's Asian or not. He is a human to us. Wait a minute.
Good clarification. Good clarification, bro.
Phil, what am I trying to say?
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
What? Okay, I've seen a lot of comments saying Jay is a new slave. Why do all the tech guys have Asian editors?
I kind of laughed at that one though.
Because Asians are better. There, I fixed it. That's not what I meant. Wow, look how red I am on camera.
The computers that the software runs on, is that why?
That's not what I was trying to say. I was not trying to. That totally made it sound like I was saying Asians are subhuman, which is not what I was saying. I think they are the superior race.
Well, I mean, gingers don't have souls, so I guess we could just add that to the growing
You can
list.
tell I'm legitimately embarrassed. Look how red I turned.
You're all ready for red dot.
How red am I right now?
You're pretty red.
Yeah, I'm pretty embarrassed.
I'm waiting for the replay.
Phil is amazing.
Well,
you guys
that's
are gonna
the chill
you guys are gonna notice some improvements in our videos moving forward. This is Phil's inauguration. Phil, say hi.
Hi.
Phil is our he is now a new camera operator for us and an editor. So now we are able to like stack our workflow. So we have an editor while we're filming, and we have another guy that's filming while editing. So we've got some racist Jay. My wife just texted me and said racist Jay.
So what you're saying, Jay, is now all you got to do is just sit around on your ass in front of the camera and be a goofball and get paid and go race your car on the weekends.
Let me tell you what was amazing today. For the first time since starting this channel, because people don't seem to realize this, Nick has never edited a video for me. Nick is not an editor. He can edit photos. He knows Photoshop workflow fairly well, but he is not a video editor. He has never edited a video for me. So today I went and got a haircut. And when I came back, I had a video that was almost done being edited. That was weird. Because normally when I leave, work stops. But
shit, that never happens to me. I always leave the room and come back, and the shit's still sitting in the folder. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, Jay.
Well, you got to hire yourself an Asian. According to the internet.
Where does one person pick up said Asian video editor, Jay? Where's the best place to pick them up?
Wow. No, seriously, there has probably never been a worse delivery of trying to say that we are all human beings than the way I delivered that statement. Wow.
Oh, it was priceless.
Yeah, my wife. When your wife texts you and calls you racist, my God.
To be fair, though, she likes to poke you with a stick. I mean, you guys are perfect for each other.
Yeah. Aye. So
Wow,
Jay can court a Post Malone and lay naked in his studio? What?
Okay. Sounds like something the internet would say.
Okay. When will the giveaway winner be announced? It's not you, Jimber Jay. It wasn't you.
They already announced it. It was me. I already collected on it. So it's sitting behind me in a box.
Oh, man.
We used Gleam.net. Gleam.net to pick the winner.
All right, so we got another topic here to kind of finish out the show with. We got about a half hour to go here. So, you want to go?
Dragon.
You want to go have another heart attack?
No, I'm limited to only one sexual encounter a day, Jay.
Oh, okay.
For health reasons, and I almost died, so we might have to cut that back like 3 times a week.
So the co-founder of Facebook is concerned that technology is taking away jobs. Now, that's been a legitimate conversation that's been taking place for a while, right? Especially the automation of warehouses and manufacturing and stuff.
Yep.
Right? Because doesn't Amazon even have like? Now, I know Amazon has human pickers, but aren't there warehouses that actually have robots that will like go and pick the things off the shelf? Yeah. I bet you the error rate is much lower with a robot. But anyway, I digress. The co-founder of Facebook is concerned about that. So what he is suggesting is that if you make less than $50,000 a year, the U.S. government should pay you $500 per month stipend to be paid for by raising the taxes on the wealthy by 1%. So these are two different conversations. And we're not going to touch the taxing the wealthy because that's so subjective. There's not going to ever be a
Yeah, if you're poor, you're going to agree with the laws that benefit the poor. If you're rich, you're going to agree with the laws that benefit the rich. It's just how it is.
Well, it just says raising taxes on the wealthy, but now you have to determine where that line is. So that's not even a conversation we can have because they didn't even talk about where that line is. But
well, technically, I'm poor now, so I want that $500. So I'm going to fight for the $500, Jay.
$50,000 in 2018 does not go a long way. We know this. So it doesn't. But I want to talk about the technology taking jobs because we talked about something like this similar on Tech Talk a while back.
We did.
And people got really salty when I was basically saying that I'm for the expansion of technology in the workplace where it makes sense. And I got some really angry emails, people telling me that I'm like anti-human.
Well, one could argue that I replaced myself at Microsoft. I mean, I was an automation developer. My job was to create automation to minimize the workforce. I mean, that literally was my job.
Oh, I argued that. Yeah.
So
I specifically told you
I'm still for automation because I believe that the creation of the automation is a new job in itself, and maintaining the automation is a job. For every job that's killed, there's another job created.
Yeah. Well, I think what we're excuse me. I think what we're talking about here is the McDonald's now putting the self-serve kiosk kiosk at the McDonald's.
Idiocracy is coming true, dude. Remember the Carl's Jr. kiosk?
Yeah. You could just order your burger and it popped out. But anyway, no. So this is probably all over the country, but at the McDonald's that's over by Disneyland, which is one that we'll stop at every now and then for the kids, you walk in. That you can now. This did not replace the cashier. The cashier is still there. It's just now if you don't feel like standing in the line, you can walk up to the little order kiosk, order your food, put in your credit card. It spits out a number, and then you go to your table. Actually, no, you pick up the number from the bottom. You type in what number it was you picked up. You go to your table, and then the food comes. What I found really strange, this McDonald's, if you guys are in Southern California, you know which one I'm talking about. It's on the corner of State College and Ball Road. That McDonald's right there is always busy because it's close to Disneyland and it's in a very highly populated area. Yep. I walked in and there must have been 25 people in line standing there waiting to order. Not a single person was using that kiosk. I went, this is stupid. I walked up to the kiosk, made my order, sat down, and my food was at my table before the people that were standing in line when I got there had even ordered yet. They were still standing in line. So I, for the life of me, couldn't figure out why they didn't want to use the order kiosk thing. But I did, and I thought it was great because if the order was wrong, I had myself to blame, right? Because I would enter it wrong or whatever. So the order did actually come out incorrect. My wife was there for this. The order did come out incorrect. I was like, what the heck? And I looked at the receipt and I'm like, oh, I pushed the wrong thing. So it was totally on me, which was funny.
You can also order on your cell phone too. There's a McDonald's app. We've used that before where you just literally just walk in the front doors or go through the drive-thru and they just hand you your order. It's all paid for and ready to go.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought it was great. Same thing like Starbucks now. You can order your drinks on your phone, walk in, it's there waiting for you to pick it up. That one's not technically taking away a job because the same people are making it. It's just no one was standing there taking your order.
It's making it more efficient.
Yeah. So the concern here is, and this is the direct I sort of want to take it, is if you're replacing these low level jobs like these minimum wage paying jobs with a machine, people are concerned that the poverty level is going to get worse and there's going to be a bigger gap in society between poverty and middle class, whatever. I don't think I think that's realistic. That's probably a realistic result for things like kiosks and stuff like that. But the question is, you still have to have people back there making the food. You just have one less person taking the order. That person could be back there making the food as far as I'm concerned. McDonald's is always going to have enough orders to have cooks back there running around and stuff. But
they did automate the drink machine, though. Did you see that?
No.
The drink machine's like a conveyor belt that just goes in a circle, and they just load like 12 cups into it. It just goes around and fills them and then brings them for the next order. So you just grab whatever cups are right there when the order's over and out the window.
So is that taking a job, or is it allowing that human to do a different job?
Well, if you had so many orders coming in that you basically needed a dedicated person to fill drinks, which I'd imagine at a place like McDonald's could happen if you had like multiple drive-thrus and multiple windows, then yeah, I guess you would be taking away a job. But then the flip side of it is how many people did it take to develop and maintain that machine? Like the company, how many people work for the corporation that developed the automated fucking drink mechanism?
And there is the divide. You are going to have these low-level minimum wage college/high school jobs, people that do not have degrees yet or have not, they don't have any of those special skills to go and work for a company like that. They rely on these low-level jobs. Now you're talking about the argument of living wage for jobs like that. That's a whole different argument I'm not going to touch today. Nobody working at McDonald's was ever intended to be able to afford a house. But the fact is, you're going to make more jobs with all the automation and all the robot designing and all the robot maintenance and all that stuff, but you're creating jobs in a completely different market. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly,
It's a hard argument because I mean there's a lot of data to aggregate on this one, because you have to look at, okay, is there a 1-to-1 ratio between a job being taken and a job being created elsewhere? Again, like you said, is the job that's being created elsewhere too high of a ceiling for anybody to use as an entry level job? If there aren't entry level jobs, are people going to be able to afford education so that they can then reach and get the higher level jobs? I mean, there's definitely a problem.
right.
I mean, there's a problem either way. I mean, the problem that we're dealing with right now here in Washington is that certain places like boosted the minimum wage up to like $15 an hour, and restaurant owners, that have such thin margins can't afford to employ people anymore.
Well,
So now everybody's like part-time and they're closing down and stuff like that. And then that's also reducing the jobs.
there was also that demand, especially in California, to raise the minimum wage. Remember when everyone was like 15 an hour, pay us 15 an hour? Like every job paid at least 15 an hour. Or actually, I think it was fast food specifically. That's more per hour than like my friend that works at it was an EMS.
Yep.
The emergency medical response was making less than a person out there flipping burgers demanding more money. So anyway, the answer to that in California, specifically with these McDonald's and stuff, was not to quote unquote have technology replace a job, but it was like, hey, we could have a one-time expense with maybe some recurring maintenance cost that can replace this job over time to save money. It was about saving money. It wasn't necessarily about efficiency. I think efficiency is a side effect, but you're still going to have. I mean, do you think we're going to see like iRobot, floor sweepers and stuff running around McDonald's? No, that's always going to be a human job.
That's how many people said that like 5 years ago about the people taking the orders or the window. What's going to happen when the guy's making the food in the back just put the shit on the conveyor belt and it just fucking farts out the side of the building into your car, and then they don't need like person working the window or even taking the order.
But then who am I going to yell at that they made my order wrong?
Yeah, there's going to be a number. You're
Oh,
gonna
call this
that
number.
There's going to be a call center on the other side, which arguably is even lower. It requires less education to take that call and to process that call. I mean, if any of us have ever called a technology company, Microsoft India Tech Support Center, you'll know that tier 1 isn't very bright.
Yeah.
I mean, did you try turning it off and turning it back on? I mean, that is the canned response.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, I guess it depends, but like certain things that have good intentions have happened that have caused bad things. I don't think automation actually is one of them. I think automation is actually something that allows us to keep up supply with demand. Without automation, that would never happen, right?
Yeah.
A McDonald's technically could become encumbered no matter how many people you had working there. The physical space that they would occupy could arguably be more than what automation could do if it was all perfectly efficient.
Yeah.
Right, because you're never going to have a team of people, like you're never going to have a McDonald's team that trains like a NASCAR crew, right? I mean, they're not going to be like flawlessly effective.
Do you recall anyone complaining about the self-checkout lines at the grocery store and the Walmarts and the Lowe's and all that?
No, but we did have a problem with our local store where people were figuring out workarounds to basically rob the store. So they shut the lanes down. Like our local store no longer has self-checkout lanes because like people were just like making off of shit.
Really?
Yeah.
See, we have the self-checkout lines, but there's like people there kind of monitoring what's going on. So, I mean,
yeah, we had them too, but for some reason they weren't doing a very good job because people were like just putting shit in their pockets, like one for you, one for me, one for you, one for me. And it was so bad that they had to shut it down.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the Amazon store in Seattle, right?
Yep. Exactly like the Amazon store.
Well, the
like
thing is, an Amazon store, you can go in there. I mean, I'll watch Lions' video, but it looks like you can go in there and walk out and it charges you all that stuff and be like, oh, nope, I didn't get this or this or this. And it'll just refund you. That's how he technically.
Well, not only that, if you take stuff that it didn't charge you for, it basically just counts it as lost. Like there's no way to return it. There's not even a mechanism to go back to the store and be like, hey, I didn't buy this, 15 bucks of tape back.
There's no mechanism to even return an item to the store. You can get your refund, but they can't take it back.
Yeah.
But
and so just to give you an idea, they're moving so much volume through there that with that automation and not having to pay the salary of, so let's say 20 people to run that store or 15 people to run that store, arguably the loss, like if people walk out and everybody gets a free item, technically they're still doing okay overall.
Well, yeah, loss prevention, right?
Yeah, that's all factored in, right? Every store has a loss prevention, basically, not a budget, but they have a certain loss that they can sustain before it's so bad that they basically have to like retool the whole loss prevention process to fix it.
Yeah. To be honest, if you're smart enough to be able to steal from self-checkouts, then you should be allowed to keep it. Laughing my ass off. So basically
Well, we just found a thief in chat.
I'm just trying to wrap my mind around that one. There are people every now and then that speak up that just make you realize that the world is so screwed.
Okay, just to play devil's advocate, or to myself on that one, because I think stealing is fundamentally wrong on many levels. But just to play devil's advocate, there you do have the Amazon store, which is saying that they've got this mechanism so fucking figured out that there's no way that they don't even have a return. They don't even have a place for people to bring back shit that they fuck up. So they do have an overconfidence in that area. So I would argue that if you go into the Amazon store with your app and you're not intentionally trying to do something to circumvent the system, at a technological level, and you leave with a bunch of free shit, their system's broke, and you literally just help them expose a bug.
So basically what that guy said is, if I'm smart enough to walk into a Walmart and put this chocolate bar in my pocket and just walk out with it, then I should be able to keep it.
That was the same voice I had in my head when I was rereading it, too.
That's how stupid it sounds.
Yeah.
That's how stupid
it does sound really, really stupid.
I know.
But at the same time, they should have a mechanism at the Amazon store that's like, if you do leave and you have an item that you didn't pay for, they should have like a little number or an app where you can just push a button and it's like, you get to keep it, but just please tell us what it was. So that they can start fortifying their system. And that way, you didn't really get a free item. And that way, it was a different exchange, right? They got a piece of information that helped them stabilize and find a vulnerability in their system, and you got free Tampax. Always Tampax.
Yeah, I mean, like those you talking about the voice right there. He's like the guy in Idiocracy. It's like, I like money.
Yeah, I like money. I'll give you $11 billion.
He broke my apartment. He broke my apartment.
I'm baiting in here.
I was watching Alma Balls, and he broke.
No, that's why I was saying the kiosk at McDonald's is funny, because remember the lady walks up to the Carl's Jr. kiosk and she's like, one large fry, and it's like, here's your large fry, and she's like, shit, there isn't a large fry here, and she hits the machine, and it's like, ma'am, you have just assaulted the machine. We were calling the police, and then she hits it again, and then it's like, your account is now 0 credits. We have notified the police that you're an unfit parent and your children have been taken from you. It's like, oh my god, that's where automation is going to go. If we let there has to be a line, right? You can't automate everything, because if every single job is automated and all you have left is the people that are making and maintaining the automation, I think the system just gets too heavy on one side and you have a whole new set of problems. So there's always got to be a happy balance. I think there's always got to be at least some human presence somewhere. And I think even the Amazon store does have human presence. If I'm not mistaken, there's people making sure that cell phones are getting scanned and shit coming in the door.
I think they like money too.
They like money.
They
like money a lot.
Uh-huh.
I know there's at least one person in chat that talks like that. And they're like, hey, stop making fun of me.
That's the mouth breather guy.
It is. I like that. Thank you for choosing Carl's Jr. Fuck you, I'm eating. That was their slogan. Or Fuddruckers was buttfuckers. Remember that?
I gotta watch that movie again. It's been a few months.
I watch it at least once every 6 months. That's one of my all-time favorite.
You know why
movies.
I stopped watching it? Because every time I watched it, I was like, damn, that part came true. That part's coming true.
It's so true. It's so true. Oh my god, I'm just waiting for the dust ball and my grass to be dying because it's watering it with Brondo.
It's got electrolytes.
Electrolytes. What you want? Hey, where's some
has
water
what plants crave.
You remember, he's like, hey, we're gonna get some water around here. He's like, well, there's water in the toilets. What do you want that for? To drink? Oh, ew, you want to drink toilet? Drink toilet water? Ew.
Why aren't the plants growing? Electrolytes have what plants crave. Electrolytes.
It's so good. Hey, Technoscope, it's Idiocracy. He wanted to know which movie it was. It's Idiocracy. It's done by Mike Judge, the same guy that did Beavis and Butthead.
And it's King of the Hill.
Hilarious.
King of the Hill too. So
yeah, it's definitely King of the Hill also.
Yeah.
It's definitely like one of those movies like Office Space where it's just you have to watch it.
I love so Terry Crews was obviously President Camacho.
Macho.
And what I love is like his teleprompter. Shit. I know times are tough, but it's on the teleprompter. Shit. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, wasn't it like shit? I know times are tough, and then it was like pickup machine gun or something like that.
The machine gun pickup was when people started like murmuring and questioning him.
Oh, okay.
He was like, "That's what I thought." Start shooting. Da, 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 da. That's what I thought. That is such a good movie. But then everyone turns on him because I don't want to spoil it. If you haven't seen a 20-year-old movie.
It's got basically an all-star cast. Everybody in the movie you will recognize as like past SNL actors and stuff like that. I mean, it's a really well done but incredibly cheesy movie, and it's done in the form of a documentary with like a third person like narrating it. It's fucking awesome.
So here's what I'm talking about. The captain in chat says, "Hey Jay, everyone mouth breathes. It's a proven medical fact."
I mean, I'm breathing through my nose right now. I mean, some air might slip in through my mouth
Look,
while I'm doing things with my mouth.
Yes, you
but
may
I mean, it's
take
mostly my
breaths
nose.
through your mouth, but if you sound like you're snoring when you're awake, that's a mouth breather.
Yeah, I can actually disprove him because I have a CPAP machine that seals up to my nose, and if I even open my mouth, air just comes blowing out like a leaf blower and wakes me up. So I have to keep my mouth closed while I breathe at night.
I imagine your mouth opens up and it sounds like one of those gas-powered blowers.
No, it literally sounds like this, dude. So I'm sitting there and it's like, that's what it sounds like. It's like an air raid siren. The cats run off the bed. Wife wakes up.
Wow.
So it took me about a week to learn to keep my fucking mouth shut. Like for the first week, because when I relax, my mouth just naturally wants to open up under pressure. But after about a week of using it, your body adapts to it. And then you can kind of do this thing where when you close your mouth, your tongue almost becomes like a dam to cut the pressure to your mouth.
Yeah.
And so now it doesn't do it anymore. Now I can breathe through my nose, no problem while I'm sleeping. But holy shit, man. First couple times I open my mouth, there's nothing weird. It feels like you're exhaling infinitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even you're sitting there breathing and the air is always coming out of your mouth. It is fucking weird. I'm going to do an Instagram video tonight. Guys, watch my Instagram. I'm going to do an Instagram video of what happens with a CPAP when you open your mouth. It's fucking hilarious.
You create a rip in all space-time continuum.
Space time and the time. Remember the time machine?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
the time machine, dude.
You can't talk to your past self as your future self.
Yeah, today I almost had a heart attack getting a latte.
William Hurst says, I am a cook, and the goal of all corporate restaurants is to minimize labor and replace people anywhere they can. Some have even replaced cooking jobs with conveyor ovens. You guys are... Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen conveyor ovens, but there's still a human that puts the food on the conveyor.
I have seen a fully automated pizza place in Japan on a TV show.
Okay.
Where it was like a robotic arm put all the ingredients on the thing and it slid into the oven. It came out to the side and it popped out the side of the building and it was your pizza ready and there was like no humans in the building.
Oh, okay. So that I haven't seen, but I do know that like most of the modern like pizza joints now, like I think Pizza Hut's one of them. Like they'll make the pizza on one end, they stick it on the conveyor, it just goes through the oven with like the perfect amount of time, and then it pops out the other side done. But I think what he's saying is it's cheaper to have a conveyor system for food like that and pay a guy next to nothing to put the food on there versus paying an actual chef and a sous chef and all that stuff,
Well, I mean, it's cheaper to buy even if the machine costs $250,000. If you have to pay somebody a $40,000 a year salary, the machine pays for itself and eventually just becomes pure profit after that.
Barn needs to use a party horn with that CPAP. You imagine putting a kazoo on your CPAP? It's like when they put the turkey call on the tailpipe of the car.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I've seen those
Or
before.
on the
Yeah.
blow-off valve in a turbo.
Yep, I saw that. That was hilarious. Hilarious. Yeah, I've seen the pizza vending machines too. I actually used one. Come to think of it, last time I went to the Puyallup Fair, there was a pizza vending machine there. It was like you fed a $5 bill in, and through the little window you watched like this rotating drum come around and like sprinkle ingredients on it. But I'll be honest, it was the nastiest fucking pizza I've ever eaten in my life. Like I would rather have had a frozen pizza in a microwave than what it produced.
The
but
Puyallup Fair.
Yeah, Puyallup Fair. Do the Puyallup.
That's a weird name, Puyallup.
It is a
All
really
the
weird
city names up there where you are weird. Snoqualmie.
Botsman said McDonald's should replace their ovens with hair dryers. Oh my God, somebody's been watching my videos.
It probably would
Really
heat better.
videos. Probably. So are we all about fuck this co-founder guy and his $500 a month stipend bullshit, or
Stipends already need to.
you know what here, and I'm gonna say this because I've lived on all, just to clarify here, I've lived in, well, I haven't ever been like rich, but I've been well off. I've been in middle class, and I've been poor as fucking dirt. Like I've lived in all three of those arenas, and not necessarily in order. Like I've gone, I'm all over the place. But the one thing I'll tell you is honestly, what we need is a flat tax.
No one will ever agree with that.
They'll never agree with it, but honestly, like any way that I look at it from like a system, as far as having a fair system, is a flat tax. But then the problem that you run into is, of course, you have people that don't make enough money to actually pay the taxes, and you put them into a hole. So I understand why flat tax doesn't necessarily work in the way the system is built today. But if the system was built correctly, a flat tax would have worked. Everybody should have a job. I guess that's where people are scared about automation taking jobs, right? Is at the end of the day, everybody needs a job.
Look,
if you don't have a job, you're effectively homeless.
As a business myself, as these I love these two gentlemen behind me, but they cost me money.
They do.
I pay half of the taxes for both of these guys. And here's the thing. When it comes to bringing on people, the human resource is the most expensive drain on any company. The human resource is the most expensive. And the reality here is that when it comes time to hire people, it's a serious way. Like you're seriously weighing the value of human resource versus like what tool can I get to do this job, or do I actually need a human to do this job? And it's unfortunate, but that's where we are. And so I understand the companies that are reluctant to hire. And of course, if you're a person out there shopping for a job, you're like, I need a job. You're like, just hire me. I'll find something to do. It doesn't work like that with the companies. So here's as somebody who's been sole prop and is now incorporated and all that stuff, you know what my solution to the economy is? You ready for this? It's probably super basic. I think anyone out there that's sole prop will agree with me. I'm sure with the 3,000 people watching, at least one person out there is a sole proprietor. Get rid of the self-employment tax. Gone.
Amen.
Get rid of it.
Amen. I wouldn't even be an S corp if it wasn't for the goddamn self-employment tax.
So if you guys don't know what the self-employment tax is, if you are a sole proprietor, it means you are just a person doing business under your name and under your social security number.
Yep.
You pay an automatic extra 15% at the end of the year. Whatever
it was 18. Is it 18 or 15?
I think it can slide actually, but mine. Okay. I've always used the term 15 because I think that's the minimum.
It's a lot.
It can go as high as 20, I believe.
Yeah.
So if you are just doing business for yourself, you're whatever, John out there washing cars, and they pay you and you report to the tax, and you're trying to be on the up and up. This is why you hear under the table, because they don't want to report the earnings because they keep their tax liability low. So if you're out there as a sole proprietor doing business, and at the end of the year, let's say you owe the government $15,000 because 1099, whatever, okay? $10,000. The government goes, okay, you owe us $10,000, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're a self-employer. You're self-employment. You're not S Corp. You're not C Corp. You're not LLC or any other. Here, that is now $1,500 that you owe us. So it's a 15% minimum extra tax. That's for nothing more than the fact that you don't work for a corporation. That is.
You know why I think they do it though? Like I have a conspiracy here.
Let me finish my thought and then give me that.
Sorry. Go for it.
Where I think we will stimulate this economy is let more people go out there and work for themselves. Let more people go out there, find creative ways to make money, and not take a hit from the government simply for the fact that you don't work for somebody else. Screw that. That is where this country is fucked, and that is why so many people are anti-corporate in this world. Not just because of the fact that the corporations are out there funneling millions of dollars into politicians because of special interests. It's the fact that Miss Mike out there washing cars, or Joe over here trying to just have a food truck, can't do it without being hit with a 15% tax simply for the fact that he works for himself. That's bullshit. The economy would be fixed nearly overnight if everybody could be their own employer and just find ways to creatively make money. That is where as somebody who's lived both working for someone else, been a sole prop, and now a corporation, that is how you fix the economy.
I completely agree. I saw one comment go by about flat tax is stupid because it punishes the poor and lets the rich pay less. No, it doesn't.
10% is 10%.
10%. It's actually perfectly fair. Everybody's paying the exact same tax. But
if I make $1 million a year, I'm paying $100,000 in taxes. If you make $10,000, you're paying $1,000. I'm paying more than you.
Yep. So let me that's the obvious one. Now the one that isn't obvious is part of the flat tax is also closing all the loopholes.
Yeah.
Because right now I know somebody who's filthy rich that shall remain silent that pays next to nothing, like less than 5% a year in taxes. You know why? Because the rich have shitloads of loopholes. It doesn't matter if they're taxed at the higher rate. It doesn't matter because they have all the loopholes and all the shelters and everything like that. There needs to be a flat, unavoidable tax.
Yeah.
Now, I understand why it's not going to happen, though. The system doesn't support it. Our current system. I'm not one of those people where I just think you just fucking make a law and everything changes instantly. No,
the system doesn't support it because that would there's no greed there. You know what I mean? Because
our system's pretty greed centric.
Yeah. And the problem is there's no accountability for the tax dollars.
Yeah. So. I was going to tell you why my conspiracy. My big conspiracy to the self-employment tax is because I think if there's a ton of people that are self-employed, they're just basically one person, one company, and they're filing tax returns. That puts a bigger load of tax returns on the IRS than had they were processing through the companies. As far as verifying the dollars and everything like that. So they just assume that everybody's fucking raking them over the coals and that there's overhead. So they just tax you for it, basically.
Which is bullcrap because whether you're doing Well, it's probably because we're dealing with Schedule C's and stuff, but that doesn't mean anything to them. That puts more. Okay, look, if you have more people working for themselves, you actually boost the economy too, because you're actually giving CPAs and tax preparers more work to do. That doesn't put more work on the government or the IRS. It doesn't matter. At the end of the year, everyone has to file something.
Yeah.
And it's all automated now anyway. There's not a human on the IRS looking over each tax return. It's all going through a system. The system, all those boxes flop into some database somewhere, and then audits are triggered based on thresholds and stuff. And this is out of whack. Boom, trigger an audit, right? So it's not putting any more work on the IRS. It's just a system that continues to perpetuate, income greed for the government. That's really what it is. So.
I just think it just makes it harder for them to look at all the individual, like if everybody was a self-employed person, the amount of returns that were coming in would be so massive they wouldn't be able to comb over them and audit at the same rate that they are right now. So it'd be easier for you to slip things past them.
Right.
But how the fuck is that our problem?
Yeah.
It's your tax system. Like that doesn't make any sense, because I agree with you 100%. If everybody could say, listen, I can't get a job, this industry's fucked, there's no job, and they go sit their ass down at the library, they find something they're passionate about, they become a fucking expert in their field, or with the internet, fuck the library, the internet, go become an expert in your field at something you're passionate about. You should be able to make a living off that without having to basically have the IRS rip you down and kick you in the balls until you can fucking overcome their gravity and start making a living.
Yeah.
It's almost like the 15% is there just to say, fuck you, don't even try unless you're 100% sure. And it's like, that's not very American.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it would curb people being creative with their bookkeeping and their deductions, but I mean, that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
It is.
Anyway,
It's a lot of
6:31. I think it's time to go home.
Oh, it's time to done shut this shit down.
Yeah.
Go do things and stuff and things.
Guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. If we missed your super chat, we apologize. But like we said a while back, we're focusing on the conversation and keeping the flow going rather than reading super chats all day. So we don't mean to offend, but thank you for your donations nonetheless. So
I do appreciate it.
You got any YouTube videos coming up, or are you still just doing the Twitcher thing?
Well, I did get my new, you'll recognize this, the new microphone.
Oh, the 4053B. I wonder who suggested that one. You see how short it is? Ladies.
That would be Nick. Nick actually suggested that I get this microphone.
Right, because Nick knows audio.
I know. I could have picked literally anybody else, and that would have been more believable. Sorry, Nick.
Show how short it is, ladies.
Oh, you guys want to see how short my microphone is?
That's one of the reasons why I love that mic. Most shotgun mics are long, but look at this one.
I wonder if I have my NG2 sitting around here. If I do, I'll show you a comparison.
Yeah, this is still my favorite mic to date.
Yeah, she's small.
For a shotgun mic, that thing is so teeny. Yeah.
Look, it's teeny tiny, teensy
The
weensy.
capsule on that super short.
Got a red balloon.
But
and you can replace the capsule too with a wide one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't they have two different capsules for it?
Yeah. So
of course they don't ship it with. They got to pay another $300 for the other one. But God, that's what makes it professional,
but
right?
What I like about that capsule, and that's why I recommended it for your space, is that is a hypercardioid pickup pattern. So it's very, very directional. So it has an off-axis projection like no other. So.
And I'm excited to try it out. And guys, I think tomorrow, I think I'm finally bringing the live stream back. So Twitch TV/Marnacles. I'll be doing morning coffee at some point in the morning. Mainly because I figured some things out now, and I think I'll be able to actually get my ass out of bed in the morning. I was having really bad fatigue issues, but I think I've figured some shit out. And as far as YouTube video, I don't know. Probably that microphone. Probably I got to review a green screen. I probably got 20 pieces of technology that need to be reviewed like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But you guys know me. I don't review shit.
Now you need to go on Amazon and order yourself one of those I think it's 3 centimeter dead cats like we use on mine. Because
I did see that at checkout and I forgot to add it to the cart. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to order one of those because you add that to that microphone because it will pick up wind noise like really bad, even with the little foamy one that it comes with.
Oh, really? And I got the air conditioner like circulating air. So yeah, you're probably right. That's gonna fuck with that.
Yeah. So definitely check one of
Order
those out. But yeah. All right, guys, we're going to go. And thanks for watching. And we will see you next week. I got an upload going up tomorrow morning. So you guys make sure you watch that. It's about monitors. Actually, it's about like how hard is it to run an ultra-wide monitor? Like how much GPU do you need? So we tested some stuff. But
like you'd know.
I have no idea. I have people to do all the work for me now. I don't know anything.
I know, dude. You just sit on your ass and be funny. Roll that out.
Okay, it's coming.
TikTok 154. Technology's ruining our jobs. And some people in chat think I'm stupid for thinking a flat tax is good, but even explaining that a flat tax won't work. Oh, fuck y'all. I love you, though. Bye.
Money.